Welcome to the Business Finance Bulletin, episode 136. Into the latest Business Finance Bulletin with me, Rob Warlow from Business Loan Services. In this bulletin, a new milestone hit by the startup loans company, latest figures from the asset-based finance industry, and business confidence. What's happening post-Brexit? Let's start this bulletin by taking a look at startup loans. Now, as we know, if you are a startup, it's notoriously difficult to get finance from anywhere. You are a high risk. And that is why the government in September 2012 started the Startup Loans Company. It's a government-funded program to help business owners and startups particularly get finance up to the tune of £25,000. Well, say it started in September 2012, so as I record this, the 4-year anniversary has just arrived, and to kind of celebrate this fact, it's coincidental that also the fund has now issued a total of £250 million in loans, and about 40,000 loans in total have been distributed. That's a great figure, and it shows us how much support is being given to startups. Now, some interesting statistics have come out from the Startup Loans Company. For example, half of the 18 to 24-year-olds who were successful in getting a loan were not in employment, education or training. And also, 1 in 5 of the loans have gone to businesses started up in deprived areas. So obviously there's a lot of support being given to these startup companies. So obviously it's been hailed as a success, but more information has come out, many from the Taxpayers Alliance, and they've really asked the question, well, all this money's going out, but how much is coming back in? And the figures coming out show that about £72 million worth of funds so far released have been written off and not paid back. Now, that's a large sum of money, and the default rate is running at about 35%. Now, for main high street banks, your default rate's anywhere between about 3-4% for small businesses, so it's significantly higher. But as I said at the beginning, it's because startups are a high risk. And in fact, the government has said it's willing to tolerate total losses up to 40%. Now, there are some people who say, well, this is a waste of money. Why are we giving loans to startups? But as you can see, there is a net benefit to the UK economy. And in fact, the British Business Bank, who kind of oversee and support the programme, say that for every £1 invested, the benefit to the economy is a total of £3. So if you are a startup and you're looking for funds up to £25,000, it's a fixed interest rate up to 6%. Go along to the Startup Loans website, which is startuploans.co.uk, and have a look there and find out who your local partner is. Let's stick with the theme of milestones being hit, with the latest statistics that have come out from the Asset-Based Finance Association as regards how much its members have lent out over the last 12 months. Now, the Asset-Based Finance Association, the members are financiers involved in invoice discounting and asset finance. And to the end of quarter 2, 2016, the association reckons that a new milestone has been hit of monies advanced totaling just over £20 billion. Now, that's a significant sum for that industry, and in fact is a 5% increase on the amount lent to the end of quarter 2 2015. So where's the activity coming from? Where's all this increase coming from? Well, perhaps surprisingly, it's actually the larger firms, the ones turning over £100 million plus. That sector saw an 18% jump in the amount of money being lent out via invoice discounting and asset-based finance. So it shows it's not just the small business owners who are jumping ship from banks and going to the alternative sector. So it's really good news there, and shows a strong performance. And in fact, over the last 5 years, there's been a 27% increase in the amount of money now being lent via this sector. So if you want to know how you can release cash that is trapped in overdue invoices and make sure your cash flow continues well and you need invoice discounting, then just drop us a line, info@businessloanservices.co.uk, and we can also have a chat about how you can purchase assets such as equipment, plant and machinery through asset finance. It's a great way of preserving your cash flow and spreading your finance risk. Well, as I record this, the beginning of September 2016, we are now 2 months or so after the Brexit vote and just coming out of our summer break. The surprising thing is, as we all know, in the lead up to Brexit, there were signs that confidence levels were taking a hit and people were beginning to hunker down. Well, as you will have seen from the media, as it particularly wakes up from its summer recess, that confidence levels are still quite high. Business owners have bounced back and saying, yeah, we really want to tackle this, we really want to get on with it and make a success of it. And that's great, because all these surveys are just showing that people are out there willing to do business. But obviously we're still very early into this whole Brexit negotiation, and there's still a lot of pain to come. Certainly from our point of view, we've not seen any clients cancelling projects or putting projects on hold. It is very much business as usual. From a lender's perspective, also business as usual. No issues there of lenders being extra cautious that we've seen in any way. However, as I said, we're early in this process, and I do anticipate that probably as we come closer to 2017 and the reality of where we are and the enormity of the task ahead begins to come home to people, I think we begin to see some confidence levels taking a hit and investment levels beginning to level off. What's the message here? Well, for you, it's planning ahead. If you are confident about your business growth, and why wouldn't you be, make sure that if you have a finance requirement, you plan well in advance. For those of you who've raised finance recently, you'll know it is not an easy and quick affair. You have to work at it. So certainly the clients that we work with, we spend a lot of time planning ahead, putting the business plans together and testing everything to make sure that it all works well. And my message to you then is, plan ahead. Sit down with your accountant, your advisors, your board, your partners, and say, what are we going to be needing over the next 6 months or so? And if it comes to a certain figure, sit down and work on it now, so you have the time, instead of rushing to the bank and getting a no because you haven't got all the information together. So the message is, plan ahead. Well, here we are at the end of another Business Finance Bulletin. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please don't forget to give it a like and a share. It all helps get the message out about what you can do to raise finance and ease your dealings with banks. Don't forget, if you're watching the video, you can also download the podcast version to listen to at your leisure. Just go along to iTunes, Stitcher, or also SoundCloud, and there just search for Business Finance Bulletin and you'll find the past episodes. And if you're listening on the podcast, go along to YouTube. Just search for Rob Warlow, and there you'll find this episode and all past video versions of it as well. Well, thanks very much for being with me. As ever, have a successful and profitable week. Look forward to being with you next time. Bye-bye now.